Polygon, Polygon, Polygon. So much for original game name. So, a quite old game named Polygon, which was released in 2020, decided to pop up on my YouTube homepage. And it looked like a pretty cool game, so I decided to download it on Steam. So, I'm going to review it to tell you if it's worthy to download or not, and if it's just a good game in general. So, what is Polygon? Polygon is a decently dynamic first-person shooter in the very early stages of the game. While being decently tactical, this game is also very arcade-like, with its low-poly textures and simple feel. The game seems to be like a downgraded version of Battlefield series in a lot of ways, but don't forget that the game is actually free. It can be run on almost any computer due to its low storage size and low-poly textures, which makes it available to a lot more players on Steam, which is good for the game. So let's move on to the next question. The user interface is one of the most simple, easiest to use interfaces you'll ever see. You'll start off in a tab called Home, and you can either battle right now or you can get a battle pass. Let's move on to multiplayer. In multiplayer, you can create your own map, but you have to have a Premier account. Or you could just join somebody who already made a server. But yeah, you need Premier to make a server. Now moving on to the Soldiers tab, you can customize your own weapons by putting an optic on it or just changing the skin. But those are the only two things you can do right now because this game is in alpha, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if you go in the shop, you see the battle pass, and yeah, there will be a settings where you can change your graphics, FOV, anything, FPS, just yeah, in general everything. But what if you were to press the Battle Now button or just join a game on multiplayer? Well, that leads me to the next question. Pause, skip to. I've been working on a Discord server for my quote-unquote subs, so if you want to hang out or chat in, you can just join that Discord server. I also just want to thank my subscribers for even subscribing, so yeah, probably will do that. So let's get on to the video again. This FPS game is kind of a tactical game, and you can use those tactics to outsmart your enemy. This mid-pace shooter is fun and relaxing for some time, until you get hacked on, which is a very common case, or just get sieged on by some sweat. There are also people in this game running on 300 ping and make the game very laggy, which makes it unplayable in a lot of ways. And the game in general just feels very clunky. For example, when you're sprinting, you'll stick to objects if you run into them. And you can't even jump through windows. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. This game feels very unfinished in a lot of ways. The charging handle on an M16 doesn't even move back into reloads, he just moves his hand back. And for movement, I would recommend a more polished game like Call of Duty Warzone, but keep in mind this is an indie game and made by probably a couple people. The only game modes in this game are 16v16 or 32v33, which is basically a Battlefield. So it's kind of like a downscaled version of Battlefield for free, but it makes the game very repetitive and boring at times because there is nothing else to do. But if we're talking from the graphics, they are beautiful in max settings. Basically, Rising Front with RTX. The devs quote-unquote recently added an anti-cheat that works, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about, the hackers in this game. Usually 4 or 5 players will be kicked because of hacking, so props to players for kicking them, but their anti-cheat's kind of this game is just something new to try in general. So if you want to relax or just try a new game for just a little bit, I would recommend downloading this game and giving it a try. So anyways, see you in like a month.